guys.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back
To PassingLaughs podcast.
To PassingLaughs podcast.
to PassingLaughs podcast.
I'm just gonna start fucking recording.
Trademark.
Nope.
Oh,
Fuck that.
I'm waiting on a cue.
I can't work under this pressure.
Throw it at the very end. It'll throw people off.
I should have gone to a doctor 100%. The human condition is bullshit.
How many knives is too many knives?
I was just going to say something problematic.
I quit.
I
Nope.
don't believe any of that. You know what? Let's just move on.
And welcome back to the PassingLaughs podcast. I'm Ross.
I'm Haley.
I'm Bees, and today we're going to talk about Frank Sinatra, his legacy, his children, and what he did for the music industry.
Real talk, we should do that one day.
We should.
Yeah, I really don't know a lot about his life and stuff.
He had
but
a lot of connection with mobsters. And
Really?
the reason why he got so famous was because he was one of the only people with a microphone.
okay, we're gonna dive into that on another day.
Sure.
What are we actually talking
Musically
about?
untalented.
Today we're actually talking about the internal monologue and whether or not you have one.
Which I don't. Haley does. And we're gonna pick Beebs' brain. See
Yeah.
where he
I
where
don't
the
have
fuck
a
he is.
brain, you dingus.
Oh,
Oh,
so
my
I guess
bad.
that's a no.
Stupid.
Alright, so it's just gonna be a Haley and Ross episode?
Imagine having a brain. Lower life forms.
Are
Gotta
you
tell you.
are you the scarecrow from Wizard of Oz?
Yeah. Hey, you don't have a brain.
Ross, put your phone away. We're at work.
Fuck, we technically are.
Tweet
Trying to-
Ross, at Ross, hashtag no phones in the office.
Might be, guys. I'm sorry.
Ross, what's it like being a freak?
What? Fuck off. What the?
All
What?
right, let's back up for a
Ross,
second.
what's it like not having an internal monologue?
All right.
First of
A
all,
little bit of backstory here.
Okay.
No, you go ahead. I think you found this, right?
Yes, she did.
Yeah. I think I sent you guys an article.
I believe she did, yes.
Yeah, I sent you a couple articles.
Yeah. All right.
So we needed to talk about what an internal monologue is
'Cause,
before we can say what it's
yeah.
like to not have one, right?
What's the spread? Was it like 90-10?
I don't remember.
I don't
I believe
90-10
it's-
spread you.
Well, okay. So there were differing opinions. I don't want to address that.
Okay, they're differing opinions.
Moving on.
Probably a good call. Thank you, Haley. No spread. Go ahead.
No spread.
I believe it's a 90-10. 90% have an internal monologue that is going 24/7, basically.
So that was what one article said, but then later I read another that said probably a lot more people think that they're constantly thinking verbally.
But they aren't.
Right. But
'Cause
they just
I
don't know it.
I know. I thought, like, whenever a lot of what I hear you and the rest of group chat talking about, it's relatable until I find out how constant and is loud the right word?
Yeah.
Like how loud this thing is, and I just don't fucking have that.
Some would say it's a conscience.
But because Haley has it, it obviously isn't. Because she's definitely a supervillain.
Why is this my thing
I
now?
guess this is your thing now.
God.
I'm never not bringing it up.
So,
Go ahead.
Ross, you claim to not have one.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, because you guys are talking about weird shit, man. Like, I always thought that the amount that I think inside my own head is normal, but it sounds like fucking chaos for you guys. And I'm, like, I hear people talk about how hard it is to meditate, which it seems like it would be if you just had your own voice in your head all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I'm not bad at it. I can sit there and kind of turn my brain off because it's kind of basically just always off. It's just not running like it's not as just, it just sounds like chaos.
So what you're referring to is the actual voice
Yeah.
in your head that talks to you throughout the day
Yeah.
and like verbalizes your thoughts with words.
Yeah.
So
I don't have that.
You don't have
I have
that?
something
See?
else.
What do you have?
Well, I don't have actual, like, speaking to myself in my head.
Yeah.
Even though I do that out loud. I speak to myself out loud sometimes when I'm doing monotonous tasks.
Right.
Which is different. That is
Right.
very, very different.
That's an external monologue.
But I still believe I have an internal monologue, but it's less speaky and more, like, feel and picture based.
So see, that is not a monologue.
Yeah.
That's a monologue to me.
No, those are
No.
just your thoughts, but it's different from an internal monologue.
And that's what we were talking about. Like, whenever someone says something to me, I guess a lot of people react internally with their response or whatever. I have a feeling, like it's just a feeling, and then I respond to how that feeling makes me feel. And so, like, that's why my wife can attest to this. Tone is everything to me. Like, I pick up on the tone of someone's voice more than the actual words that they say. Because you can tell someone to fuck off, and then you can tell someone to fuck off, and then you can say, fuck off.
Fuck off!
And, you know, people with or without monologues understand that, but I think it's more prevalent and more important subconsciously to people without one. Because you're not...
I don't know if I would go that far.
Maybe not. I mean, I'm thinking of all this shit up as I go.
Anyways, I think like 90% of communication is nonverbal cues anyway.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So
I actually prefer communication with very little nonverbal communication.
Why?
Like
it leaves less to the imagination.
Right. I highly prefer like sending messages versus face to face.
Really?
Though which is weird because a lot of my job does depend on the face to face, and I'm pretty good at it.
Yep.
However, it's very exhausting, and I need to take it all in at one time.
Yep.
Versus like
mulling it over. Like you can wait to reply.
Right. Now the thing with chat is a lot of people are bad at chatting, and they're very unspecific, and they expect their tone to carry over to the text.
Yep.
Which is no.
I used to be really bad about that, and friends would get mad at me via text message and stuff.
Oh yeah, no,
And
you're still
like
like that.
What?
Oh yeah.
What?
I
lying.
never know what your tone is.
Why? That's why I include every time LOL or the stupid crying face
100%,
emoji, because
100%.
otherwise people think I'm just a huge
It's a qualifier.
bitch.
It absolutely, like, an exclamation mark is a qualifier for sincerity instead of an actual exclamation.
Right.
It just means I'm serious about this.
Yeah. It's either that or you get like hyper specific, and a lot of people don't like reading.
Oh
so.
yeah.
Because I get hyper specific though.
Wait, you said I get hyper specific?
No.
Oh.
It's people either.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
do that or get hyper specific.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people who gets hyper specific because I don't like it when people are super vague with me over text.
I get that.
So
Absolutely.
I definitely do send walls of text.
That's fine though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better to be clear.
I like clarity.
But yeah, so you sent this message a while back, and again, my first response was, of course. And then I read the article, and I was like, this sounds insane to me. Honest to God, I don't know how you guys function.
It's hard. And I think as someone who has lived with anxiety for many, many, many years, I think the monologue inside my head makes it so much worse because that bitch never shuts up.
Right?
Like,
but
constant reaffirming.
Yes.
Affirmation.
Well, I have that too. It's just not verbal. Like I'm constantly, and I guess it's also just the feeling. Instead of hearing,
is it like impending doom?
yes, it's instead of I guess you have that dread or whatever, but I'm not putting words with it. It's just like, this feels like shit. This feels like shit. This feels like shit.
Except it's just the feeling.
It's just the feeling.
Yeah.
But I think what works to my advantage is if I do verbalize it and I do say, this is fine. Like I've had the situation with the podcast from time to time. I'll get a little overwhelmed by stupid shit, like dumb, stupid shit. Like at the end of the day, I'm creating a weird form of art with my friends. This is the most enjoyable thing I'm doing right now. It's dope. But then I'll get overwhelmed by stupid shit. But all I have to do is say, it's going to be fine. Yeah. This is going to be fine. And hearing it, which is, I guess, what you guys are always doing, kind of fixes it for me a lot of times. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. But I guess you guys have that voice all the time.
All the time. And sometimes, so there's like the background one that's always there and running and saying whatever. Like, it's not under my control. But then I can take it under my control and but it almost feels like a separate voice. Right. And in an article I read, those really are two different things. They activate different parts of your brain because they had somebody think. Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
They had somebody in an MRI and they were scanning their brain just as they were just
Wandering.
relaxed
Processing.
and thinking, but not actively. You know what I mean? And then when they asked them to think specific words in their mind, then it activated a different part of the brain. So they know that some people have a different internal monologue than the one that you can activate.
I mean, it makes sense. It feels different.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say like taking control over like your guys' internal voice, because when I was really bad at, I had to learn to do this over many years, but when I would start to get into like negative like headspaces, or like I would feel weird like negative things, I now force myself to basically take control of that, address it, be like, okay, let's locate exactly what is causing this. And basically once you find out what is causing the negative feeling, I guess you now have like a plan of attack, and like you can identify it and go for it.
Yeah.
And that's how it's felt for me.
For sure.
I still feel like I have an internal monologue though, because I like,
Describe what you feel then, or
Well,
you
let's see,
experience.
because like right now, well, I don't know if I can say right now. Right now, it's just a stream of consciousness.
Also, what happens when you're thinking about it doesn't count. That's why I thought what they feel is what I felt isn't.
Yeah, it's
that
not
make
when
sense?
you're
Oh, it's
actively
subconscious?
thinking.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Like,
Maybe I don't.
If I'm sitting there and not actively thinking, but I still hear thoughts constantly like, oh, I wonder if I did this and that, and like things just constantly. Blah, blah, blah,
That's
blah.
weird. See, well, I'm not a professional at all, and I have no background in studying people's brains. However, I have the worst memory of all time, and it's because most of my day is spent disassociating. Like,
Okay,
straight up, like,
wait.
yeah.
What do you mean by
Like,
that?
like straight up just like not being 100% present. And
Okay, that's not disassociating.
yeah, it's not disassociating, but it's like most of it is just straight up just not being present 100%. Like just like 60% of my mind is being used at any given moment, and then the other 40% is just off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
okay,
times
that's-
that it, yeah.
So do you have a lot of really surreal moments where you come like you
yeah,
kinda
when I come to,
yeah,
yeah,
dude.
where I snap back in and I'm like, oh,
Would you say you snap back to reality?
snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. But I also have really shitty memory. I'll realize on days where I'm more, I guess, lucid and like actively like present.
All right,
Yeah.
are those good days? Like, do you feel good on those days? Because I feel great.
more energized on those
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Bro, you don't have a monologue.
Oh shit.
You don't. Like, and that's the thing. So after we had all this conversation in the group chat, first of all, I was just panicked the entire day. But when I got home, I talked to my wife, and we just sat there and talked about it for hours. And I was like, it sounds exhausting, frankly.
It
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be, yeah.
And she was like, we honest to God, like we couldn't help it, but we went back to every argument we've ever had and was like, well, we're just communicating differently. We're communicating with basically she's using her words and then eventually her emotions, and I'm just emotions the entire fucking time. And
I do usually use emotional responses as opposed to verbal.
Right?
Yeah.
It's you feel the argument more than you argue the argument. Like,
Right.
and honestly, we've never had a bad relationship, but like it was kind of eye opening. It was like we communicate a little bit better now. It's
awesome.
it's really fucking interesting.
That's so disgusting.
They love each other.
Compassion.
Understanding another person. Ew.
The thing you said about it, the thing you said about how it sounds exhausting, it is.
Yeah.
And so
I can see how it is.
meditation is one of the things that's helped the most, because learning how to silence that involuntary voice was really hard, but even just 5 minutes of not having it is just like so good.
I bet it's like taking a nap or some shit. Like
It is kind of. It's just like
That's
if you
so
had a
cool.
radio playing in your brain all day and then you
don't
turn it off.
You're gonna give me anxiety. Holy shit.
Ugh.
I love this shit, dude. But yeah,
Well, I guess I don't have an internal monologue.
dude, that's what I'm saying.
So you're more feelings.
Yeah.
That's how you primarily think inside your brain when you're not
Yeah.
actively thinking. Okay.
Yeah, because like you can just hear your own voice in your head. Like if I, yeah. Okay, so whenever you read a book, do you hear your voice?
Well, Sometimes if it's like the narrator, but then I definitely have other voices for the characters.
Okay, so say this is a brand new book.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what the characters are supposed to be like
Yeah.
from like a movie or whatever, a
Yeah.
TV show. Do the characters have your voice or a
No,
random
my
voice?
brain makes up voices for
Okay,
them.
but the narrator is your voice.
Yeah.
Not me.
Oh, narrator's my
Really?
voice usually.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. I just read the words and they are processed. I don't hear anything.
I feel like that's a really good skill if you're trying to learn to speed read. I've never been able to do that because when I read,
can't
I
see.
have to hear every word with my internal voice,
And
or
see,
else it won't process.
Whenever I'm sure you guys have this, like you'll read a page and you're like, I don't fucking remember anything.
Yes, because I'll be reading with
Yeah.
my eyes, but it's probably different from
Yeah.
you. My internal voice is saying things that
Yep,
are
yep.
not what I'm reading.
Okay. So like whenever I'm mine's a little bit different. So like I'll read it and I'm like, I didn't fucking catch any of that. Then I'll go back and I'll read each individual word. And not that slow, but yeah, I'll process it and that's when I hear my own voice. That's
Yeah.
whenever I hear that internal whatever.
Yeah.
And then I process it a little bit better. And maybe that's why I fucking read so fucking slow. Like it takes me months to read a good sized book.
Yeah.
Also my attention span is like non-existent.
I'll read 2 pages, then set the book down,
Never
and
pick
come
it
back
up.
to it a year later and be like, shit, where was I? And I'll be like, there's no point in even asking because I don't remember.
Right, yeah. It's kind of it's kind of freeing whenever you're like, I don't remember any of that chapter anyways, and you just start over. You don't have to find the
Yeah.
book, the page you left
Yeah.
off on.
Yeah. So is yours also mostly feelings, or do you see pictures and?
It is mostly feelings, and
Okay.
then it's also like me playing out a scenario in my head if I have to deliberate on something.
But when you're not actively thinking.
When I'm not actively thinking, it's like feeling.
Okay.
And then sometimes if I'm making a small decision, I do talk to myself in my head as well.
Yeah. Well, that's different.
It's kind of like harder processing.
So that's not the monologue.
No.
Oh.
See, that's what blew my fucking
That's what I
mind.
thought the monologue was.
And that's why
I
this is so mind blowing because any meme that you see about it, everyone's like, oh yeah, but some people are like, fucking oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think it comes back to how people misunderstand what the internal monologue
Yeah.
is,
Mhm.
because almost everyone can hear their voice in their head.
Sure.
If they don't, they're probably a sociopath. No big deal.
I think it's the
But,
other way around. If there's too much of it, they're a sociopath.
Shut up.
Haley's a sociopath.
So-
super
I'm
villain.
not.
Yet.
I think the words internal monologue are misleading because it sounds like not as complicated. Just
Well, it's-
hearing the words internal and monologue put together,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, like a monologue is when somebody speaks, has
But
the stage to themselves. Internal, obviously, you're speaking
Yeah.
to
But
yourself.
it's because we aren't taking it as literal as it is.
right.
Like it's
not
literally.
literal, yeah.
Well, no, it is literal. For them, it's literally an internal monologue that's just going. Ours is like anecdotal. Like it's there and then it's not. It's there when you turn it on and it's not whenever it's not.
Maybe we somehow compartmentalized.
Dude, 100%. I think it's from trauma.
Oh god. I mean, mine's not. It's not like it's 100% all the time going, but a large percentage of the time. Because I also like have moments where it's only feelings, or I'll just be processing with images. You know.
Right.
All right, how about this? What about like shower arguments?
I never have them.
Are you serious?
Really?
Well, also most of it is because I take showers in the morning as soon as I wake up.
Oh, so
And
you're
so my brain
still,
is dead.
like-
However, even when I do take showers like at night or in the middle of the day,
That's a really
I don't
good
really
point.
have it.
I don't have them in the morning either, but if I take a late afternoon, yeah. Like preschool, post school, like if I had a shitty run in with a bully, it was like, man, it would have been dope to say this. And then I just get hooked into this loop where I take a 30-minute shower because I'm just standing there like, that'd have been great to say. That'd have been great to
I
say.
still don't get that. I
Oh, really?
think it's because when I shower, I see it as something I need to do. Like it's,
That's fair.
It's my it's not my relaxation. I don't find showers relaxing anymore.
Oh, wait. Did something happen?
No, I just like I'm
Did the
just
shower hit you
no, yeah, dude. The shower spanked me and it just no. I just
in a bad way?
I don't know. I just don't enjoy showers like I used to.
You need to find
So
your
I don't
peace.
stay in there for very long. So I'm trying to get in and out as fast as I can
I get that.
and still being thorough. So
Also, dry skin's a son of a bitch.
yeah,
Like,
I literally can't be in there as long as I
Right.
used to because my eczema is really bad.
Well, I have to shave my entire body,
Yeah.
so it takes me a minute.
femininity, am I right?
I mean, I don't have to. That's a choice that I choose. That's something I choose to do.
Yeah.
But if you're a woman and you don't want to shave, you don't have to shave. So you heard it here.
Hallelujah.
Well, you don't want to shave for the boy.
I mean, that was part of our podcast. Like, if we ever go video, there's no expectations.
What do you mean?
Like, no one is required to dress up or anything for it.
Yeah, no.
IMO,
I'm wearing a shirt that's inside out right now.
That is 100% true.
Also, Beebs, you could use some concealer right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got all these blemishes. It's how it be.
I don't know what you're
We didn't
talking
even turn the light on today.
No,
This is
because-
awesome.
Weird.
Is concealer for
Dude,
blemishes?
I'm digging it because this
candle?
this candlelight, it's setting the mood, man. I appreciate this.
Wait, it's setting.
No,
weird.
shut up. No.
Beebs, were you
It's just,
aware of
it's
this?
relaxing. God dang it, dude. I'm a dude, and so I can't comment on candles without it being romantic.
You said setting the mood. I mean,
There's a bunch of different moods.
You were talking about
fair.
the mood.
Sorry, you're letting your internal monologue run wild. I just had a feeling. God dang it. I just had a feeling. It was an altruistic, good, wholesome feeling. Feeling close to my friends.
I wonder if artists who are really good at bringing images from their mind onto the
Can
paper or
completely shut out a
whatever.
monologue.
You bring to
Yeah,
the speaker.
I wonder if they process more with pictures rather than
Yeah,
words or.
yeah.
Also, I'd like to see like a spectrum of like musical taste
Yeah.
and the presence of an internal monologue and without.
You know what? That's a really.
I
this
like
makes
very
sense.
intense music.
You do,
Yeah.
and I was just thinking how your music makes me feel really anxious sometimes.
Right.
But
For me, it makes me feel great. Like it
Right.
feels like I'm releasing.
It's like
Yeah.
translating what you feel into
Yes.
outside shit.
But then I really enjoy songs. It doesn't matter the genre or anything, but something that I can sing the words along with, you know?
I appreciate
Yes.
that too, though. But I don't enjoy singing along with the words as much. Like even when I'm by myself, like it has to be a song that affects me, like from my childhood or something.
Emotionally.
Yeah, like it has to be something that hits hard.
Beebs, I think you just made
Breakthrough.
a scientific breakthrough.
Breakthrough. I
Dr.
dropped the pen.
Beebs.
I dropped the pen because I can't drop the mic because it's expensive. But
It's not in the budget to be that dramatic
I am not a medical professional.
I wonder
anymore.
Have
He killed those people.
to, oh my god.
Yeah, we didn't want to tell you.
We'll have to look into that more.
That'd be interesting.
don't.
We should ask Seth if he has an internal monologue.
Oh, he definitely does.
You think so?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. No, me and him talked about it. Like the day. Seriously, whenever you pointed this out to me, I just went to everyone and was like, "Hey, do you have an internal monologue?" And everyone was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, but like this," and they're like, "Yeah, absolutely." I'm like, "Fucking crazy." It was blowing my mind. Kind of gave me anxiety. Not gonna lie.
So this one article that I read, the one I was talking about earlier, shit. What was I gonna say about it?
It's okay.
It was an
I'll just
article that you
take-
I
read.
just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So the way that they tested to try to get a more accurate gauge of whether people have it or not is they would give people this little buzzer thing, and then it would go off randomly throughout the day. And at the moment that it would go off, they would have to try to
Yeah.
mark down how they were thinking. And it took a while for them because your first instinct is, oh, the buzzer went off. Shit, what was I thinking about? And then you start processing with words. But
And yeah, so that's why a lot of us think we do, because you immediately start talking, and it's not until someone describes what they're actually feeling and hearing and thinking that you're like, yo, that's not what I'm feeling, thinking, and hearing.
yeah.
What an ingenious way to test that. That is,
Yeah. But it takes some time for some people to learn it because, you know, maybe you're doing the dishes and then the buzzer goes off and you're like, oh, I was thinking about washing this dish in a certain way. But really, you were just not thinking anything and you were just physically feeling the dishes, and that was what your brain was processing.
because there was a fucking science study. There was
There was a science done.
some
They
people
did a science.
Some people did some science, and they figured out that you don't really multitask. Your brain switches back
Yeah.
and
I
forth
saw
quickly.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So it's like you're doing the dishes, and sure, at some point in there, like every second or 5 seconds or whatever, you have to look back down at the dish to do it. So like that's naturally what you think you're thinking, but you're not actually thinking what you think you're thinking.
Right. You might just be processing the physical
Yeah.
sensations because it's something you've done a million times.
You're actually thinking about how none of the people in your family actually understand the way you feel.
Right.
And-
That could be something you're thinking about, Ross.
Don't project on me. I don't know what I said. You said
I'm
I thought.
trying to imagine if I had the buzzer that went off randomly and I was in the middle of doing something, if my mind would truly like, I guess the thing I would think as soon as the buzzer went off would be like, turn the buzzer off.
Right, but then that's
That's
after the fact
Right,
already.
yeah, right.
So.
But yeah, like she said, you have to train yourself to be thinking retrospectively, like before the buzzer,
And you can't like overwrite your thoughts with
Yeah.
the words you're now thinking.
which we also know is super fucking hard. Like
Yeah.
people replace memories all the time.
Yeah. So it's really interesting.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Word.
See if there's anything else.
Do you have any questions for us, Haley? Any more?
So, all right, where are you, Beaves? Do you
He's
think
right
you
here,
do?
Ross. Can't you see
Yeah,
him?
you.
No,
idiots.
my internal monologue isn't telling me where Beaves is. But I think me
where
and
am
Haley,
I?
yeah.
Spiritually,
God dang it.
I've made peace with the fact that there may or may not be a God. That's okay. I think,
Jesus.
the meaning to my life does not solely rest on a deity's shoulders. It's, it's on me. That's where I am.
Beaves, me and Haley kind of know where we are with this whole thing, or I think we're pretty sure.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
definite.
I think
Definitely sure.
I'm in the same boat as you, Russ. I think I'm
Really?
Yeah. I mean, after hearing that the internal monologue, I
Right.
now understand that the internal monologue is not a conscious decision that you make.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the big thing. It's not something you try to do.
Right.
Because anyone can try to
Right.
do that. I mean, I guess I'm sure there's some people who can't, but for the most part, it's just
So it's a voice
what's
constantly running in the background.
Yeah, like
that's
even
insane.
Right now,
Thank
listening,
you.
That is maddening.
I'm listening to you guys, and she's like, and I'm like,
Also-
shut the fuck up, please. I'm trying to listen to them.
see, like my ADD doesn't come from that. Mine is literally just whatever's behind the person talking is more interesting to me than
Like
the person
visually.
talking. Yeah, it's like I get emotionally bored, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I have to try to care, and it's not like I don't care about what they're saying. I just don't care about what they're saying.
That's I hate to admit it, but I'm right there too.
It's like that's also why I really appreciate concise statements. Like I just you could have said that in 3 words. You said 72.
I agree with that too.
right.
That's super annoying.
I have a friend who rambles quite a bit.
Oh, Ross.
My
No.
bad.
Right here.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
He's
to.
right
No.
here.
Or other Ross.
No, the funny thing is, no, it's not other Ross. But
So it is me.
No, it's not.
Fuck you,
it's
man.
Not, no, it's not Ross. There's no Ross involved. The thing is, he always complains about how his dad rambles as well, and I
Oh,
I
for
mean, the
sure.
apple doesn't fall far from the tree, my friend.
Oh
That's
shit.
my biggest fear.
I think my biggest thing is just having a hard time reacting a certain way.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of times I'll hear something that genuinely most people would react to a certain way, but I feel like a good portion of my reactions are like, I have to.
Ross, are we sure Beaves is not the sociopath here?
Stop trying to project. We all know you're evil.
I'm not a sociopath, and we did that
No.
sociopath test. I'm not a sociopath.
Yeah, but the
Oh.
sociopath gave it to us.
Listen.
Shut the fuck up. No.
But tell me if you have this problem.
Well, it's things that I can't relate to that I have to try and like.
Yeah, I get
that's
you.
where my reactions come from. It's if someone tells me something that I have not experienced and I can't.
So you would say you lack empathy? That
No,
is the
no,
very
no.
I
first.
don't lack empathy.
Stop projecting, Haley.
No, well, I
You
have
psycho.
to process what they're telling me and be like, okay, like this is
Yeah.
honestly this might be a tragic thing for them. I have not personally experienced this, but I need to
That's literally the
let
definition
them
of
know that
empathy.
I'm
Yeah.
understanding them. Yeah,
So
I want them
think-
to feel good.
I think you have the same problem I have, which is you react internally and then you realize I didn't make a face to go along
Yeah,
with that.
exactly.
They think I'm being a dickhead.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm inside me, I'm like, oh, that poor bastard. Is there anything I can do? My face, stone. Nothing.
I have the problem where I'll hear something bad and it makes me feel awkward, so I laugh.
Oh, I love
Oh
that.
God.
That's my favorite
That's
thing
so
about you.
awful.
Listen, that happened at work one time.
Oh no.
Because my boss's wife was in a sort of little accident where she tripped and fell and hit her head. And it was so uncomfortable for me to hear that because I didn't know
I
like if
get
she was
that.
okay. And I laughed.
Oh, no.
And everybody looked at me. And I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. But luckily they're like psychologists, so they understand
okay.
that some of these things happen
That is
sometimes.
the single best place
Yeah,
for
that
that
is
to
the
happen.
best place for that to have happened.
Anywhere else, you're just fired.
I know. Oh God, it was so awkward.
That is horrible. I've definitely done that before. Like you go, oh God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
I've done that one time.
Never done that.
I've done that once, and it traumatized me, and I'll never do it
I've
again.
done it more times than I'm
Oh,
comfortable.
God.
Like that movie, The Joker. Some people have that for real.
Yeah, they really do. I saw this YouTube video of a
you
guy who
telling
had
me
it,
you-
and it's the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
He's driving and he has to pull over and he's like crying and he's like in physical pain.
Yeah, because
And-
you're fighting it.
Yeah.
like you're fighting it.
Yeah, he's
and-
like trying his best and he's like coughing and
Oh,
like
no.
he's running out of air and he's like turning red. And then he's like, okay, it's finally over. And then it'll start back up again.
Damn.
No.
To bring it back, I wonder how the monologue is with that stuff. I wonder like if they're lacking it or
That's probably unrelated.
Yeah.
Like it could probably happen to anybody.
I know. I was just trying to tie it in.
Well, no, I mean we.
A seamless segue. A double S, if you will. Full marks.
SS.
An SS.
Wait,
No,
no.
Why? What's wrong with
them
SS?
some Nazis.
Peeps'
Oh.
face just then.
Oh,
So imagine not knowing who the SS is.
White privilege over here. Bees.
yes, my white privilege is showing.
I think you're
My
projecting.
Aryan privilege.
One day we're gonna have a video or
A big reveal.
Yeah. And you guys are gonna show that I'm actually a Hispanic woman.
God,
That was one of those times where I laughed because it was awkward.
yeah, I get that. I think that's literally all we can say on this.
Yeah, without actually getting into our brains and hearing the monologue, that's pretty much it.
That would be an episode.
The
would
tech
be.
is not ready.
We're
It's
not.
not there yet.
Dude,
not ready.
imagine this episode, but it's like we're not talking and it's just that, and we're talking, but in the background, there's a little Haley just going, yeah.
I gotta go pick up.
Because we got shit.
We're gonna have
Haley
more
over
traffic,
here.
maybe, but then we're gonna go hiking after. That's gonna be fun. Shut up, bitch! Alright, so that's about all we have to say about that for today, but we'd love to hear your stories and if you have an internal monologue or not. So,
Take us home,
Is
Beebs.
this the part where I tell them where to reach us?
yeah, you
Where can they reach
you
us,
can tell
Beebs?
them.
Well, this is where you can reach out to us.
Clean.
Our email is PassingLaughs@gmail.com. Look us up on Facebook. It's just Passing Laughs. Instagram and Twitter are both at Passing Laughs. If you like this episode, drop a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe, ring that little ding-a-ling bell. Also, you can tweet at us individually or follow us. I'm at Bees Redacted.
At Haley Redacted.
At Ross Redacted.
And remember, if you like tuna, you're probably a shark.
And don't forget to pass on those laughs.
Bam, bam, ba-gum, bam.